Hello everybody, Dokkan Assets here. Today we are back with another Dragon Ball figure unboxing video. And when I say Dragon Ball, I quite literally mean Dragon Ball this time around. That's right, we have finally the first few figures from the Mystic Adventure Ichiban Kuji. Obviously, this Kuji set features a ton of characters from OG Dragon Ball, which is absolutely fantastic because obviously we don't get OG Dragon Ball figures too often, especially the characters that are featured in this Ichiban Kuji. We definitely don't see a lot. I mean, I guess except for Kid Goku, but you get my drift, right? So very exciting that today we're going to be taking a look at Mai and Shu and Pilaf. Now, technically, I could do two different videos on these for sure because, you know, Pilaf is in one thing and Mai and Shu in the other, but like, you know, come on, bro. They belong together. They're the Pilaf gang. How could I not? And as well, you know, Shu and Pilaf are both really small figures. And yes, I know I did a standalone video on Cell Jr. But regardless, right, I think they belong together for this set. So let's go ahead and crack into Mai and Shu first. And then we will get into Pilaf, and I am very excited about this Ichiban Kuji. This is quite the interesting Kuji as well. Oh, by the way, actually, before I do that, let me show you the box in a little bit of detail here, so you can get some close-up shots. Very, very nice stuff here for Shu and Mai. It's interesting that they decided to include them together and not just, like, put the whole Pilaf gang in one box. I'm not sure why they decided to do it that way. By the way, it's funny that they have this on the side, but I'm pretty sure this big warning just says, hey, Pilaf is not included in the box, so just FYI. But yeah, I am very happy that they decided to do this trio. Obviously, a iconic gang from OGDB. And not to mention, of course, you know, since they don't really get figures too often, and I don't even know what the last Mai and Shu figure was. Surely, since I've been collecting Dragon Ball figures, I sound so pompous right now. Yes, since I, Dokkan Assets, has been collecting Dragon Ball figures, I know for a fact that there has not been a new Mai or Shu or Pilaf figure that has released up until this point. So we're in for a bit of a treat today. And interestingly enough, they are kind of separated in the box. Another thing that is very interesting about this Ichiban Kuji too, is that this is the one of the last, if not the last, I think, Ichiban Kuji to have normal prices where the figures are around the $36 mark per figure, or like the $45 mark for the bigger figures. Because from here on out, oh, interesting, Mai is in plastic. That's pretty cool. The figures have gotten a lot more expensive since this Ichiban Kuji. And there's Shu. He's just in there. Wow, I'm surprised that there is not more padding on my man, honestly. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a look at these two, I suppose, since Shu is... my man's just kind of vibing. Let's just go ahead and take a look at him. Ooh. So cool, dude. It's so nice to have actual Dragon Ball figures to take a look at, just besides Kid Goku. So here we have the boy. Let's focus the camera in on him. Whoo, that looks so good. That looks fantastic. The sculpt detail on this guy is so nice. Look at the fur on his tail. That is really good. I don't see many QC issues on my copy either. Is that a little speck you can wipe off? Yeah, maybe on his knuckles, because sometimes there's QC issues on there. No, it looks okay to me. I mean, the paint is a little bit spotty on the white parts of the sword, but other than that, honestly, he looks pretty good, especially his face looks very nicely painted on. I will say, it's interesting how this is textured. Like, you can kind of see the texture a little bit on it, right? You can sort of see those lines reflecting off the light there. Very interesting in the way that this is textured. Yeah, definitely not too bad. The only thing that I guess I would kind of complain about is the seam line that is obvious for the sleeves, right? Because obviously that would be one connected piece. You can tell that they just kind of glued that on. But other than that, this guy's pretty solid, honestly. I definitely like Shu. Can he just stand on his own? No? Does he not have a stand? He doesn't have a stand. There was nothing included in his bag, unless it's in Mai's, or unless I'm just missing it. No, there's nothing else in the box. Interesting, okay. I guess he just doesn't have a stand. They just expect you to Figure it out. He kind of stands, but he's very wobbly, right? You can see of me trying to stand him in the background there. He's just a little bit of a wobbly boy. Interesting. All right. Well, I'll put him down just for the sake of the video, because I don't want to accidentally knock my man over. Very interesting that Mai is in plastic here, and then she's in a bag just on her own. She also doesn't have a stand? She does have a stand. Interesting. Why'd they shaft my boy's shoe? Why did they shaft my boy? Interesting. All right. Let's go ahead and pop open Mai's bag. I gotta say, ooh, Mai's hair is a different texture than the rest of the figure. That's very weird. Okay. And let's go ahead and get the stand out. The stand is tiny, bro. Holy cow. Look at that. Oh my gosh. That's a tiny stand right there. The camera's having a hard time focusing on it. It's so tiny. Very interesting. Okay, so that is her stand right there. And then we have Mai herself, ladies and gentlemen. That is a very good looking figure. I think they honestly nailed. Wow, she stands better than Shu. And Shu doesn't have a stand. What is this discrepancy? Look at how stable she is. I'm shaking her and she's basically barely moving. Very interesting. Honestly, this is basically Dragon Ball Mai spot on, if I have to say so myself. I think they absolutely nailed her look, right? Like from the very long trench coat with all these little details on it to the patch, which I assume, I guess, is like the Pilaf patch, unless it's just kind of stylized, right? Her face looks literally perfect, right? This figure looks very, very nice. There is even, unfortunately, the only thing, I was going to say there isn't, but I guess there is actually. You can kind of see a seam line where her hair sort of meets in the middle, right? Which is kind of unfortunate, but I mean, it sort of meshes into her hair because obviously there's all these like stripes or strands of hair, I guess you would say, you know, over hair going down, so it's a lot harder to notice it. Her boots as well also look really, really good. Just wanted to show that since obviously they were sort of cut off. These just look like old leather boots, which I mean, I guess fits the character quite well if I do say so myself. So this goes on her? Really? What is the purpose? This can it fit on Shu? Hold on. Does this fit on Shu? No, not really. Can it help him stand in any way? Because honestly, this would benefit Shu a lot more than it would benefit Mai. Because Mai can stand on her own just fine. I mean, I guess you could kind of do this, and it sort of makes him a little bit stable, but I don't think that really counts, if I'm being honest with you. Alright. Then in that case, let's stick the stand on Mai. I actually don't know what foot this goes on because it kind of... no, I think it's this one. The shape sort of matches. Let me push this on because I don't want to ruin the boots, right? Yeah, okay, that just slides on there. I think that's correct. No, that's definitely not correct. Dang it, I put it on the wrong one. Okay, at least the shoe didn't really get damaged. The shoe? Funny. Okay. Let me slide that on there. It's so weird because the material of this figure feels a little bit different than like normal Ichiban Kuji figures, which is kind of interesting. Hold on, I'm going to do this off camera. There we go. Slides right on there. Yeah, it feels like a different material. Like it's almost like harder plastic. I mean, this part is a little bit malleable as you can see, but her boots feel like a lot more of a different material than you're used to with Ichiban Kuji figures. Yeah, she stands worse with the stand. What? Look at how wobbly she is. Yeah, get that garbage off of there. There we go. Look at how much better that is. So weird, bro. All right. Let's put these two next to each other, and let's go ahead and grab my boy Pilaf. Stinky stand, bro. That is a little bit unfortunate. Wonder if I can sort of work that into Shu somehow. All right. Pilaf. Look at my man. He looks great. I'm really excited that this figure turned out pretty well. Obviously, Pilaf figures are very far and few between, and the thing is with Dragon Ball figures specifically, a lot of the really good Dragon Ball figures are actually older. There aren't really a ton of newer... Oh, bye, Shu. There aren't really a ton of Dragon Ball figures of like characters that just aren't Kid Goku, right? Because obviously there's plenty of those. Characters that aren't Kid Goku don't really have that many modern figures. A lot of them are from older like Ichiban Kujis and figures and stuff like that. So it's nice to be able to get some of these characters, you know, in the modern style. And it's nice that these Ichiban Kujis, for some reason, the characters that like basically get no love, which I mean maybe that's why, because they know figure collectors will get them. It seems like these ones always turn out a lot better than the generic like Gokus and the rest, right? So I think that is kind of something a little bit interesting to know. Let me move my a little bit back. There we go. All right. So let's unseal our boy Pilaf. Very nice. Let me chuck this to the side here. So this is a cool set. Does he actually attach? Oh, he has a stand. Okay, interesting. Look at him. Let's get him out. So interestingly enough, this guy comes with a set of Dragon Balls, and even though the set of Dragon Balls is obviously like made for him specifically to stand with, you could definitely use this for other stuff. Like I know that in, what Ichiban Kuji was it? The one with Purunga, right? He stands just fine too, bruh. That's crazy. Shoes just lacking, I guess. The Ichiban Kuji with Purunga in it, right? That came with a set of Dragon Balls, and they look so much worse than these ones did. These Dragon Balls look so nice. I'll give you, I'll look at them in a minute here. What is this, bro? This is so tiny. This is like the tiniest SH Figure Arts, or SH Figure Arts, Ichiban Kuji stand I've ever seen. Does this even fit on him? I don't even know if I want to put this on him, because look, he stands just fine. I don't know. Very weird. How does this even, bro? Like this? That's so strange. Okay. I guess that's how that goes on? That doesn't feel correct. Yeah, no, that definitely doesn't feel correct. Is it his other foot, maybe? This is such a bizarre stand. Yeah, because it, like, fills in the space of his feet, which is so weird. That does not work at all, bro. We're just going to leave him regular. Alright, let's see. Can this one fit on Shu? Oh! Wait, is this stand, like, meant for Shu? Wait, why does it fit Shu so much better than it fits Pilaf? What? That, like... I mean, it doesn't really, like, attach, but... Yeah, no, that works a lot better for Shu than it does... What? Alright, well, I don't know if that stand is meant for Shu. You can kind of correct me in the comments. It doesn't really, like, push into him. But if you just have it sort of pushed against him, it's a decent thing to keep him stable. Interesting. Alright, well, let's take a look at the Dragon Balls here. These look really, really cool. Are there oh, there are stars on them. Okay, it's kind of hard to tell. There you go. You can sort of see it there. Those look sick. I love that they sort of went for a more like marble aesthetic sort of thing, right? Rather than just plastic balls. And they actually made them see through and sort of the light sort of like kind of reflects through them. That's really cool. It would have been almost nicer if they would have put the stars on the front, but then again, you probably wouldn't have been able to see the ones in the back, so I understand why they did it on top. But I think this works really well for just like a little Dragon Ball thing, and you could use this for basically any setup, right? You could use this for a Namek setup, bam, right? And then put Purunga in the background. That'd be perfect. We have your boy Pilaf here. You look so good, dude. I'm sure that they also included the Dragon Balls with him, not just because obviously this is a very iconic scene, but also because, you know, since this figure is so small, it would be kind of hard for them to sell him just on his own, which, I mean, again, I guess we did get Cell Jr. and the Cybermen recently, but it's cool that they included it, and he doesn't, like, really connect with it in any ways you can see. I mean, his body, like, I guess sort of kinda like meshes up with it, but not really, right? As you can see here, he just sort of kind of butts up against it. It's not really meant to like attach to him in any way, but obviously it looks good right up against him. Okay, that is what we have for these guys. Let's go ahead and move into our size comparisons here. Now, this one is going to be a little bit tricky because obviously we have 3 figures rather than just one. But I'm going to do my best to get all these bad boys in frame and some semblance of size comparison here. Obviously, we have the Ichiban Kuji Gotenks and we have the Super Saiyan Blue Goku, just like every video. And as you can see, Pilaf and Shu are definitely pretty tiny, right? they are basically no bigger, if not just a little bit bigger by Shu's ears and maybe the top of Pilaf's hat. But I think Goku still has a little bit of size on him just because of the pointiness of his hair. Obviously, these are small figures, but they are scaled a lot closer to a regular Ichiban Kuji figure, right? So, of course, you know, it's going to make sense that even though they're small, they're still a hefty size, right? In terms of their actual size, Mai stands at about 8.5. I think that's just about there. On camera, it looks more like 8 inches, but I think that's more about 8.5. And Pilaf is about 4.5, and Shu is about 4.5. I know it maybe doesn't look like that on camera. Maybe for Shu it kind of does because of the angle that we're at. But yeah, that's sort of the roundabout. So they're not too big, right? They're definitely not a foot tall or anything like that, but they're definitely not too shabby in terms of the sizes for these guys. Now, unfortunately, like I said, I don't really have too many Dragon Ball figures to compare these guys to. Obviously, when we get more of the set, we will, of course, have more to compare to. But I figured, first and foremost, we would bring out... I apologize for the dust, by the way. This guy has been on the shelf for a fat minute, and I really like this figure. I've taken a look at him a really long time ago. We have the Bam Presto World Figure Coliseum Milk Goku, and I'm just going to leave him right here since the Shu and Mai and Pilaf are all chilling right there. And these guys actually look really good together. Obviously, Goku is sort of a bigger scale than these figures because of just the nature of the size of the figure that he was made with. But they do still look pretty good together. Obviously, these are some pretty big Dragon Ball moments being represented here. Some pretty iconic Dragon Ball moments. So it's very cool to see these figures all next to each other. I definitely like this. For some kind of Dragon Ball cabinet, I would say maybe having the Pilaf gang closer to the front of the cabinet, and then maybe having Goku in the back could work pretty well too. Alright, so besides Milk Goku, I think the even more appropriate comparison, and I kind of wish I had the other Nimbus Goku, because I think he would work even better for this comparison, to be honest with you. The one where he's wearing the blue gi from early Dragon Ball. Let me actually, let me put him on the other side. Will he fit around Pilaf? Can we swing that tail around? Yeah, perfect. We have the flying on Nimbus Kid Goku here. And obviously, this guy looks really good with these figures. He scales a lot better to how these guys are. That might even be... I don't know if the scaling is perfect, but it's definitely pretty close in terms of how big he actually is to these three. Definitely a very good figure if you want to pair a Kid Goku with these guys. Of course, there is a Kid Goku that we'll be taking a look at from this specific Ichiban Kuji set. When I eventually get that, it's just that these three shipped out first before anybody else. So... that is going to do it for this video. If you are interested in picking these figures up, I will leave some links in the description. If you do pick them up from Amazon, I do get a little bit of an extra cut with no extra cost to you, which is fantastic. And if you would like to support the channel further, you can do so over on the Patreon. That is exclusively for my figure-based content. So if you're into that sort of thing, definitely head over there, but please do not feel obligated. Of course, you watching the vids is what means the most to me, so thank you for that. And I definitely recommend these guys. These are very nice figures. They are absolutely fantastic. I think anybody who has watched OG Dragon Ball would absolutely love to have these in their collection. Not to mention, if you are a fan of Mai or Pilaf or Shu, obviously these are perfect. And they are pretty inexpensive, all things considered, especially with how crazy Ichiban Kuji prices have been lately. These guys are sort of that OG good price range for these figures. So definitely cop them if you want them. I would highly recommend them if you love Dragon Ball. And that is going to do it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Dokkan Assets out. Peace.